Hello guys and welcome. Today we are going to be talking about the disable state feature that we find in the Guna button. So what is the disabled state feature? This disabled state feature allows you to set some properties or visual appearances which want to be set as feedback to the user when the button is in a disabled state. Well, it sounds like a very long description. What is that? What you're simply saying is when the button is set to disabled state, the user has to see visually that the button is set to disabled. So we have a Guna button here which is set to default. It's not disabled. As you can see, I can interact with the button. Now let's disable the button and see what changes. Let's set to enable false. Let's run the project and see what happens. Now the button is disabled. As you can see, nothing happens when we hover or when we click. Nothing happens. The button is disabled. But we'd like to change the visual feedback or appearance so that it matches whatever scenario you may have and the theming or the UI of your project or software, whatever you are making. So if you go to the disabled state, you can see we have preset values. The border color is dark gray, the custom border dark gray, and the fill color is preset, and the full color, and so forth. Let's change this. We like this to be light gray. We like the border color to be light gray, the custom to be light gray, the fill color to be a dimmer shade of gray, or let's set this to gray, and then full color, let's set this to gray as well. The fill color, let's change it to light gray so that we are able to see the button in its disabled state. Let's run. Now the button is disabled and we can see the updated visual feedback. So we can change this. Let's change again to dim gray. Let's change the border color, the custom border color, the fill color to dim gray, and let's run the project. Whatever values you have according to your theming, you can write them. This button is disabled. So we advise you to set your disabled colors different from the enabled colors. For example, we can't set a disabled state color, for example the fill color, to a color which is confusing like dark gray or black and white. It's difficult now for your users to see and know that the button is disabled. To them it may appear as if it is a regular design or theme. It's hard to tell that this button is disabled because the contrasting are so obvious. But if the text is grayed out, let's set this to gray, and then we set this to dark gray. Now when the user sees the button, it becomes obvious that the button is disabled. So this is how we use the disabled feature. We can disable the button and give a visual feedback to the users that the button is indeed disabled. So let's enable the button. Another feature we want to highlight is the fill color. This seems so obvious and straightforward. We can change the fill color of the button to any color to match our theme. When the animated is set to true, the hover color will be computed and applied so that it does not give a visual glitch, but the transition becomes smooth, as you can see right there. So this feature is pretty obvious, but I thought it necessary to mention.